I'm Bear from Bear's Scrummies. Today I want to show you how to make my hot sauce. This is my first video. My grandson Carson helped me come up with a name. We decided on Bear's Scrummies. So for Christmas he ordered me this blue apron and he put Bear's Scrummies on it himself. So thank you, Carson. And I hope you enjoy the hot sauce, and let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is show you the ingredients I use. Del Monte diced tomatoes with green peppers and onions. I use 5 or 6 cans. If you can't find that exact kind, don't worry about it. I've used fresh tomatoes. I've used great value tomatoes. I've mixed and matched the tomatoes, and it always comes out good. It changes the flavor just a little bit, but it always turns out good, so don't worry. Nothing is set in stone in this recipe. Do it to your taste. The next thing, one day I decided it wasn't hot enough, so I decided to put in a can of Rotel. And what I like to put in is the extra hot, but all I can find lately is hot. So I put hot. If that's too hot for you, use the mild. My husband says that I have burned all my taste buds off, so do it to your liking. The next thing I put in is a tablespoon of garlic powder, and I just use McCormick. I use a scant 1/8 of a cup of salt. I'll show you what I mean by that. It's just it doesn't come quite up to the rim. If it's too much salt, cut back on it. If you like more, fill it up. And I just use the Morton, whatever I buy. This happens to be sea salt. And this is one of those little measuring cups that you measure coffee with. Just 2 tablespoons is what it is, I guess. Next is the onion, and I use the largest onion I've got. I love onion. So here's what it looks like. I don't cut it small. I cut it pretty good size there. And the main reason I do that is because if you cut it too small, when you put it in your food processor, it's going to blend all those onions away. You're not going to be able to see them. And I like to see little bits of onion and pepper all through the hot sauce. The next thing I use is jalapeno peppers. I put as many as I want in there because I like it hot. If you don't like it quite that hot, you don't even have to use them. Just put the amount you like. If I've got fresh ones, sometimes I'll use canned ones and 2 or 3 of the fresh ones. I don't like to use too many fresh ones because I think that raw flavor of a jalapeno can overpower the recipe you're making. So I use 2 or 3 of them, 2 sometimes, whatever I feel like while I'm chopping. Here's the blade that I use in the food processor. It's just the big choppy blade. I don't know what it's called. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to put in is 2 cans of the tomatoes. Now I only put 2 in to start with because I don't have a very large food processor. If you've got one large enough to hold all this, then put it all in. Most people don't have a large enough one to hold everything, but I've learned through trial and error that if I don't put 2 cans of tomatoes in, the Rotel, and all of my dry ingredients, plus the peppers and onions, then it just doesn't taste like I like it to taste. There's always something missing. I don't get that flavor that I'm looking for, so I put 2 cans of tomatoes, 1 can of Rotel, the garlic, the salt, the peppers, and the onions, and I blend it all up, right, just like what I like it, where I can see the peppers and the onion bits. And then I put it in my bowl, and I finish off by blending these 4, and then I add it to my bowl and stir it around. So I'm going to go ahead and put the salt. Here's my tablespoon of garlic. I've never used fresh garlic in it or canned garlic, but you probably could if you want to. It probably tastes good. So here's the onions going in, and remember they're just pretty good sized chunks. I just stick them all in. So I want to get all those flavors blended together, and that is why I add everything in the first batch except for 4 cans of tomatoes. So here's my peppers, and I'll show you that I put a lot of peppers in there. I just keep spooning until I think that that's about what I'd like. You're not going to want as many peppers as me. I almost promise you that. And I probably won't get it hot enough this time, but we'll see. Still going to put some more. And I just buy the big jar, the biggest jar I can find at Walmart. I guess I've thrown it in the trash, so I keep it in this Tupperware container, and then I can put it in the refrigerator, and then when you go to use them, you just pull it up, and the liquid stays in the bottom. Let me give it just a little bit, one more shot of these. I guess you don't want to put too many, because that might overpower it too. Okay, now I'll show you how I pulse it. Put my lid on. Scoot it just a little bit closer so you can see what it looks like there. And then I just pulse it like that. I like to watch it. I like to watch it as it's being pulsed, because that way I don't just chop it to puree. I don't blend it till there's nothing left. See bits of the onion and pepper, but they're still too big. It's getting close. I think it's almost ready. At this point, I'm going to open the lid, get a spoon, and make sure that I don't have some big chunks in there. Nope, I don't see any. But I'm going to show you. Oh, there's one right there. Well, rather than start it back over for just one chunk of onion, I'm going to do that to it. I don't want to get a big chunk, though. Okay. If you can see this or not, but do you see those little bits of onion and pepper in there? That's how you want it. You don't want it to be just blended together. So let me take it off. And I'm going to pour it in the bowl. Got a big bowl here. I'm going to put my finger on that so it won't fall in. Pour that in. Okay. I'll put that back on. I'll move my bowl over here. And add the rest of the tomatoes if they'll all fit. I think they will. Okay, now I'm going to put the lid back on. We're going to pulse this, and we're going to go ahead and get this till there are no tomatoes, so it's going to be blended pretty good. Still going to pulse it though, because if I don't, sometimes it'll kind of run over. Spoon and just check it. You don't want any big chunks. I might do that just a little bit longer. 2 or 3 more pulses ought to do it. Oh yeah, that'll be good. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to get my bowl back over here, take this on, and let this go in. Just pour it all in there. And take your spoon, if you've got an old food processor like me, and get it off as good as you can. I'm going to stir it all together. Once you put this in it'll be good right now, but when you put it in the fridge and you get it out tomorrow, it'll be really good when all those flavors blend and get together. Okay, it's time for the taste test. I've spooned some into my bowl, and I have a saltine cracker. My husband and I are both on low-fat diets, so we found that we like saltine crackers with our salsa. There's less saturated fat in a saltine cracker than there is in a tortilla chip, so if you're on a low-fat diet and you've never tried it, you might want to give it a try. There's one other thing I wanted to tell you. I used to use 1/4 of a cup of sugar in my salsa, but one day I decided to leave it out. Nobody noticed. I didn't even notice. It was good. It made no difference. So that's optional, but I did want to tell you about it. If you like sugar, you can put 1/4 of a cup in and it'll be great. So let's try it. That is scrummy. That is scrummy. I gotta have another bite of that. That is good. This is Bear, and this is Scrummy hot sauce.